How wars change global shipping. Nearly a quarter of the world's seaborne oil passes through a narrow stretch of water. That stretch is only 21 miles at its narrowest point. For decades, the Strait of Hormuz has been one of the most important arteries of the global economy. But wars don't just destroy ships. They change the routes those ships take. And sometimes, those changes last long after the fighting ends. So what do you do when the world's shortcuts have become dangerous? This isn't a situation shipping companies want. It's a situation they're forced to manage. Every day a ship sits, it costs money. Even at anchor, those massive vessels continue burning fuel to generate electricity and keep essential systems running. Cargo isn't moving, schedules begin to slip, and every delay ripples through manufacturers, retailers, and consumers around the world. Then every voyage becomes a risk calculation. Can we still get insurance? How much more will it cost? Can we keep our crews safe? Will customers accept longer transit times? Is it better to risk a dangerous passage through the strait or burn thousands of extra miles of fuel by taking a longer route? None of these decisions are easy, and none of them are free. As security risks increase, shipping companies are forced to reroute vessels, rethink logistics, adjust schedules, and absorb higher operating costs. All while customers continue expecting their cargo to arrive on time. For a shipping company, the question is no longer, what's the fastest route? It's what's the safest route that still keeps our business profitable while continuing to deliver for our customers. Now that the map has begun to change, what happens when every major shipping company starts asking the same question? Well, the answer is something much bigger than delayed deliveries. Global trade begins to change. It starts with one company rerouting a handful of ships, another shifts cargo to a different port, a third signs new contracts with terminals hundreds of miles away. Individually, those decisions seem small, but together they begin to reshape the global map of commerce. History has shown that businesses rarely return to the old way of doing things simply because the war has ended. Once companies invest in new ports, new distribution centers, and new shipping lanes, those investments have a way of becoming permanent. Reliability often becomes more valuable than the shortest route. That means some ports grow while others decline. Some countries become more important to global trade while others lose their influence. New infrastructure gets built, new partnerships emerge. Entire regions can suddenly find themselves at the center of global commerce. The battlefield may eventually fall silent, but the economic consequences continue long after the last shot is fired. Sometimes the most lasting effect of a war isn't who wins the fighting. It's how the map of global trade is permanently redrawn. Let's take a look at the new shipping map. The Strait of Hormuz isn't going away. It will remain one of the world's most important choke points. But every conflict leaves behind a lesson, and this one is teaching governments and businesses the same thing. Relying on a single route for critical supplies carries enormous risk. Over the next several years, we'll likely see more investment in pipelines that bypass the Persian Gulf where it's economically and geographically feasible. We'll see ports outside the Gulf expand to handle more cargo, giving companies additional options when disruptions occur. We'll also see larger inventories for critical goods. For decades, global shipping has relied on just-in-time delivery, a system designed to minimize warehouse costs by delivering product only when they're needed. It's incredibly efficient, but it's also vulnerable when supply chains are disrupted. Instead, many companies are shifting towards resilience. They'll diversify shipping routes, add suppliers, and accept higher operating costs in exchange for greater reliability. The next map of global trade won't be drawn by politicians alone. It will be drawn by thousands of everyday decisions made by shipping companies, insurance, manufacturers, and consumers. Hey, if you like what you heard, this is Frank with America's Geopolitics. Hit that like and subscribe. See you next time.